What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You gotta check this out, y'all. Exclusive. New Trump administration plan could end asylum claims and speed deportations for hundreds of thousands of migrants. Oh yeah, so the Trump administration, he is doing every single thing he can to get on top of this deportation operation that he's got going, that is underway right now and is not moving very fast because of all these activist judges out there trying to stop the Trump administration from deporting all the people that Joe Biden imported into the country. It's insane. It really is. Oh, we're not allowed to deport people? Not without due process. Well, they've already had their due process. But let's get into this. This is fascinating, y'all. The Trump administration is planning to dismiss asylum claims for potentially hundreds of thousands of migrants. No, criminal aliens, as a matter of fact, as we'll come to find out, in the United States, and then make them immediately deportable as part of the president's sweeping immigration crackdown, according to two sources familiar with the matter. It marks the latest in a series of moves by the administration to bar migrants from receiving protections in the U.S. As federal authorities come under pressure to deliver historic immigration arrest numbers, administration officials have been quietly working on efforts to make more people eligible for removal. That is right, because we are not removing nearly enough of these people. Donald Trump has 4 years to get rid of these people, and it's not moving fast enough, as a matter of fact. They put out some numbers the other day, I think a couple of weeks ago, or the first 5 months, I think they were averaging 650 arrests per day. That's not deportations. That's just arrests per day in the country. So that's not nearly enough to get rid of, what was it, 200,000 and 300,000 people a month under Joe Biden. That's insane that came into the country. Wow, folks. But let's keep going. The people being targeted, you see, this is manipulative language. This is what I always talk about with micro manipulations, folks. Hang on just a second. You see this nail right over here? It's being targeted by a hammer. That's the type of manipulation that we're seeing. The people being targeted in this case are those who entered the U.S. unlawfully and later applied for asylum, the sources said. Yes, they're criminal aliens. Once again, they came into the country, they broke our laws to come in, and then somebody was nice enough to tell these people, hey, you need to go claim asylum so you can stay here and be tied up in litigation for years. Their cases are expected to be closed, therefore leaving them at risk of deportation. Once again, more micro manipulations, folks. You see that nail right there? These hammers all over the country are targeting nails. Over the last decade, the majority of applicants who applied for asylum with U.S. citizenship and immigration services, or USCIS, self-reported how they entered the U.S., with around 25% saying they entered the U.S. unlawfully. That amounts to at least 250,000 people, according to a federal report analyzing asylees in 2023. The others entered legally via a port of entry through various visas. Under U.S. law, people who are seeking protection from violence or persecution in their home country can claim asylum to remain in the United States. Trump effectively sealed off access to claiming asylum at the U.S. southern border upon taking office. Yeah, he shut all that crap down just right fast. You want to know why that is? It's fascinating. It's like 80% of asylum claims get denied. Almost 80%. It varies, but it's like around 80%. That's why. Because most people's asylum claims are just bogus, right? And also, you know, it's for the people that enter the country between ports of entry. The proper way to claim asylum is go to the embassy in your home country and claim asylum there. You do not take a treacherous journey that crosses cartel territory where you'll be forced either into trafficking, you know, some sort of trafficking, working for the cartels, and paying them money to be forced to do that, and then come to the border just to claim asylum. You enter the country illegally and then claim asylum. That's not the right way. That's not the proper way to do it. If you are in fear of persecution in your home country, you do not do those things. You go to your embassy and claim asylum at the U.S. Embassy in your home country. And if you do not have a U.S. Embassy in your home country, you go to the nearest country. Right? These people that are traveling from all over the world to claim asylum, it's bogus, folks. It really is. They just want to come to the United States, specifically because they get free handouts. Right? Asylum, you go to the nearest nation and you claim asylum there. That's how that works. Anybody that actually fears persecution in their home country doesn't travel halfway across the world to go claim asylum. That's not how that's supposed to work, folks. People who are not in deportation proceedings can apply for affirmative asylum through USCIS. USCIS, which falls under the Department of Homeland Security and is responsible for managing federal immigration benefits, has also been delegated the authority by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to place those individuals in fast-track deportation proceedings, as well as take additional actions to enforce civil and criminal violations of the immigration laws, according to a memo obtained by CNN. That marks an unprecedented departure from decades-long protocol for USCIS. Yeah, because the protocol has been just let these people come into the country and then just let them roam free. Vetting be damned. That's how we get so many terrorists in the country. In a statement to CNN, USCIS spokesperson Matthew Trageser, I don't know how to pronounce that, said the agency had nothing to announce at this time. USCIS' top priority remains the screening and vetting of all aliens seeking to come live or work in the United States. President Trump and Secretary Noem have given USCIS the ability to use all tools in our toolbox to ensure that the integrity of the immigration system is upheld, fraud is uncovered and expeditiously addressed, and illegal aliens are removed from the country, he added. Typically, USCIS can turn people over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the next stages of their immigration process if they determine that they're not eligible for relief in the United States. Enforcement actions like ordering someone to be quickly removed have generally fallen under the authority of ICE and Customs and Border Protection. Experts and advocates warn that placing USCIS at the center of the president's deportation campaign is likely to have a chilling effect for those trying to obtain relief and remain in the United States. Yes, that's the point. They're turning the agency that we think of as providing immigration benefits as an enforcement arm for ICE, said Sarah Mehta. I guess that's how you pronounce that. Deputy Director of Government Affairs for the American Civil Liberties Union Equality Division. Migrants who have had their cases dismissed under the administration's new plan will be subject to expedited removal. Yes, get them out of here. That fast-track deportation procedure allows immigration authorities to remove an individual without hearing before an immigration judge. Yes, they do not get any sort of due process, or as a matter of fact, that is the due process. You get detained and removed. That's it. That is how the law works, folks. Once again, that's like saying, oh my goodness, you see all these hammers? Do you know what they're doing? They're targeting those nails. How absurd. It's hilarious. And this is the manipulation. This is the corporate press. They do this with everything, folks. Everything. Did you know that these screw guns over here are targeting screws to drive them into wood? Fact check true. Trump officials expanded fast-track deportations earlier this year to include undocumented immigrants anywhere in the U.S. who cannot prove they lived in the U.S. continuously for 2 years or more. The administration also previously told immigration judges they should dismiss legally deficient asylum cases without holding a hearing. Yes, good, because most of them get dismissed anyway. I just love this, folks. Like, there's been an epidemic of houses being framed together, and for some reason, these nails seem to keep getting targeted by hammers, and we don't know what to do about that. It's insane what the corporate press does. They just lie, they just manipulate, and good on the Trump administration. I'm glad that they are just pushing through all the BS, all the fake news, all the nonsense, all the manipulation that's coming from them, and just continuing to expand their mass deportation operation, because this, once again, my friends, is an 80-20 issue that Democrats and the corporate press have decided reluctantly. It will be reluctantly, once they find out how popular it is, that they're continuously getting on the side of a 20% side of an 80-20 issue and wondering why their popularity and poll numbers are going down. Like Democrats, they're just lost in the desert right now, folks. Seriously. It's kind of like the Israelites without Moses. It's like, who's leading who over here? What are we doing at this point? It's funny to watch, though. But I'm really glad the Trump administration is doing all this. They're dismissing cases all over the place. And, it's just fascinating to watch the corporate press just get on the wrong side of history. This is why they're constantly having to tell you, hey, we're on the right side of history on this one. They're undocumented citizens, for crying out loud. You ever heard that one? Yeah, they're calling them undocumented citizens, immigrants. But they always say migrants, but they're not migrants, are they? No, they're criminal aliens. See, this is why they really need to delineate between these things, because there is a vast difference between somebody that comes through the proper channels, that just wants to migrate to this country because it's America, that just wants a better life, wants a piece of that pie, and somebody that decides to pay the cartels, come across our border illegally, and do an end run around that process so they can cut in line, cheat the system, and enter the country illegally. Those are criminal aliens. Those are not migrants. Those people do not have good intentions upon this country. Right? Some of them may. But if you choose, right? Think about it like this. If you decide one day, I want a better life, and you decide, I can't do that in my home country, I'm going to go somewhere else and just start anew with a better life, would the first thing you do upon entering that country be to break that country's laws? The first act, stepping into that country illegally. That doesn't sound right, does it? Doesn't sound very logical. But that's what these people want you to believe, that they just want a better life, y'all. But that's not really the case. It's not. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. I would greatly love to have you. Stay and, share this video anywhere and all over the dang place if you could. And if you would be so inclined, I would love you to death. I'd be your best friend for life. We could be besties. If you would click that join button, sign up, become a member, help this channel blow up and expand, so we can get the message out about how people are being manipulated, that nails are being targeted by hammers every single day. Y'all do me another favor. Y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.